Hey everybody, I got big news for you today. We've got ICE shipping people around the country. We've got Trump threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act. What's that all about? We'll discuss that in today's video. Stay tuned and buckle up. Okay, first off, we're going to look at a article from the Daily Caller by Amber Athley and Vince. I can't pronounce his name, but the link will be in the description if you want to read along. In what it's about, Trump plans to invoke the Insurrection Act to boot illegal immigrants. President Donald Trump is planning on using the Insurrection Act to remove illegal immigrants from the United States, the Daily Caller has learned. According to multiple senior administration officials, the president intends to invoke the tremendous powers of the act to remove illegal immigrants from the country. We are doing the Insurrection Act, one official said. Under the Insurrection Act of 1807, the president has the authority to use the National Guard and military in order to combat unlawful obstruction or rebellion, quote, within U.S. borders. The act was last invoked in 1922 by George H. or 1992, by George H.W. Bush to quell the Los Angeles riots, and was also used by Eisenhower in 1957 to enforce the school desegregation in the South. By the way, Biden was against that. An official expressed concerns that Trump's use of the Act's powers would face legal challenges, pointing to the lawsuits against the president's travel ban from majority Muslim countries. However, as the official noted, the travel ban ultimately prevailed in the Supreme Court. Yeah, they took the case and said he's in his rights. He has the power. He's commander-in-chief, right? Pretty crazy. So as we continue, in addition to the Insurrection Act, the president is also considering declaring the country full and insisting that the U.S. can no longer handle the massive influx of illegal immigrants. 2019 is currently on pace to reach the highest levels of immigration in a decade. Quote, if you take a ship and it holds 1,000 people maximum, one more person and the ship is going to collapse. Unquote. The official explained, the country is full. Our hospitals are full. Our detention centers are full, they added. ICE facilities were forced to release 100,000 illegal immigrants in the first 3 months of 2019 because of overcrowding in detention centers. That's horrible. So they're just wandering about, and we don't know who they are or what they're doing or whose name they're using to get things. But anyhow, separately, the president unveiled a new immigration plan Thursday that focused on border security and merit-based legal immigration. The plan, which was co-authored by top aides Jared Kushner and Stephen Miller, would increase the proportion of visas granted to highly skilled immigrants and also establish a self-sustaining border security fund. I don't know how that would be self-sustaining. What are they confiscating money they got on them from the trafficking? How is it self-sustaining? I don't get that. But there's that story, okay? And it's pretty clear that the president is within his power to invoke this order, the Insurrection Act. So there's no question there that he has the authority to do it, just like he had the authority to do the travel ban. It was just held up while the Supreme Court proved it. And meanwhile, the gate's still open. That's just all. That's why they obstruct, just to keep the gate open a little longer. They know they're going to lose. But, the other story that we're looking at, and this is Fox News again, the link's down there. ICE to hire a contractor to transport 225,000 migrants to shelters across the country. Wow. Yeah, this is at Fox News the website. So if you want to read along, links in the description. The Trump administration is looking to hire a private contractor that will be responsible for transporting approximately 225,000 migrant children and families to shelters across the country over the next 5 years as they wait for their asylum claims to be processed. Claims. If we have open borders, we can't protect them from the people they're running from, so how can they actually get asylum? But I digress. Back to the article. ICE, Federal Immigration and Customs Enforcement Agency, is seeking the services of a highly responsible contractor that fully embraces the philosophy of treating all unaccompanied minors, UACs, and family units, FAMUs, with dignity and respect, according to the federal procurement document dated May 13th. Trump unveils a plan to transform America's immigration system and focus on skilled workers. Nice headline, just in the middle of all this. The private company will be hired to transport approximately 60,000 people a year. It will work to arrange commercial flights and ground transportation for the migrant children up to age 17, as well as adults with children, and will provide food, clothing, and hygienic products during transit. Sometimes the contractor will have to plan commercial or charter flights in a period of less than 24 hours, the document states, highlighting an increased need for an on-demand escort services as the Trump administration addresses a large influx of immigrants from Central America who come to the U.S.-Mexico border to claim asylum. So that's that article. There's a little more to it, and you can look it up and read it. But that's about it. He's bringing people in here, or letting them come in, and then he's letting ICE transport them all over the country. Hopefully it's to these sanctuary cities that already vote Democrat, right? Don't want to go flipping no red ones. I know I'm here in Denver. You know, I don't know if it's Denver, Cisco, or San Fran, Denver, but, you know, some of the migrants are coming here. That's right. So if you're a poor person living here, just know that that's how you get a smaller piece of that pie. That's how you get a little bit less for your Section 8. A few less dollars for your food stamps. Maybe a little less coverage on your health care. Because that hasn't increased. Just the number of people eating that pie has increased. You get what I'm saying here? We are at full capacity. We can't do this anymore. Some of these people aren't just here to be Americans and have a good time. Some of them have really bad intentions, and we need to know who they are and where they're going. So I hope that's going on. I hope we're identifying these people. But anyhow, just thought you might like to hear that story. And there's plenty more to it. And, you know, how about that Insurrection Act, you know? I mean, what's that? It's kind of like martial law, right? I can read it to you. I got it here. It's the wiki. I'll put that in the description, too. It's the Wikipedia. And it has links to the actual U.S. codes at the .gov websites if you want to go actually read them. In a nutshell, the Insurrection Act of 1807 of the United States Federal Law, 10 U.S.C. And it was renumbered and rearranged, but it stayed in, since 1807, it's stayed in place. And they just changed it in 2016. It governs the ability of the President of the United States to deploy military troops within the United States to put down lawlessness, insurrection, and rebellion. The general purpose is to limit presidential power, relying on the state and local governments for initial response in the event of insurrection, coupled with the Posse Comitatus Act presidential powers for domestic law enforcement are limited and delayed. The act was used to declare the commencement of the Civil War. Wow. So it's one of the major national security acts that are in place for a real serious situation like this, basically. So put a link in the description for that too. And I suppose I'll see you in the next video. Things are getting weird. I think I got the last word on that.